Abusa mama akwa be mfam na GH Xtra TV so ukopiem wo eye Twitter X ne so a chese ye to bi amane eye Sam George pa sanso na akwa monten eso bibiri na edi na tem na de etwa ma wo pa eye Nigeria mind ba ko a ono so wakasa afa eye Sam George ho chese esewani andisifo ni bi so etwa abo Sam George pa busu enye afidiagdo ni nyina efa eye data process ho omususu se data process no
Data in Ghana is expensive, and that's why I respect Ghanaians that are actually online frequently.
Abusuya the way a data prices no apostle no, and I'm so emma say ukupim mo Twitter biblina Xtra mo address say John Mahama obo adwuma pa ada eye ministries no bi aye adwuma enso Sam na te George e kamia say adwuma no ontimi enye
data boy den do why wo be yatim why what be nyai
na we na ema Sam George ne bufu ya odi we beto mountain so say people think data cost must be cheaper by the stroke of my pen. Sam George urges patients to address issue. Or say Twitter boys and Ghana for ni bi omo kasa no madwene say anko twe ne pen na nka eye data price no aba eye form na munnim de mo kan na de etwa nipa bebre na awo ene say abra na ye mame Xtra owusu woye eye osoafo mechere na oye eye minister for communication Sam George akeka sansem we efamami ehun.
Second issue that the Minister for Communication raised to confuse herself in her directives with the hope of confusing Ghanaians and watering down the impact of the 50% CST increase was the issue of data expiry. It is common knowledge that data that does not expire has always been on offer on the Ghanaian telecoms market. The only thing is that data that does not expire is more expensive than data that expires. So what did Eslawusu think she was trying to achieve in passing a directive that she wants the telcos to introduce data that does not expire? But once again, we have seen the telcos place their commercial interest over the interest and welfare of their customers. However, we will not just blame only the telcos. The ultimate blame lays at the doorstep of the Akufo-Addo administration.
Enya no kwa otwa so Xtra we eto eye afidie so say blame Eslawusu for the high cost of data. Just say na enye afidie agokra isan say na satam no na opposition ti no ototo na adwen bo na adwen e de kire eye Eslawusu the way a data process no akoso no enam so eba eye stone we Nigeria mine chese sports and chese ya oye nkakra kakra o se otieti anchacha so eba Ghana kakra na o hwe data eye process no compared to that of Nigeria na that is Ghana for pa ye boka ewo eye data.
Data in Ghana is expensive, and that's why I respect Ghanaians that are actually online frequently. It's not easy. I was in Ghana twice this year, and let's say you want to buy 8 gig of data in Nigeria for 1 week. You purchase it for like 2,000 naira, right? And then you buy 10 gig, you buy for like 2,500 for like a week, or 3,000 naira. Now in Ghana, you want to buy that same 10 gig. The naira equivalent compared to cedis will be between 9,000 naira and 12 to 13k in naira. The same gig. So, and I don't know, maybe at some point it becomes cheaper if you are using maybe Vodafone or other lines, but it was MTN I was using. It is expensive. So when Ghanaians are online and are content creators and are online frequently, going live, or Ghanaian people, you know, maybe not content creators, watching content and all those stuff, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys very well. I tell you.
Abusuya no kwa andi sifoni bi omobu afu omkoko apai atoto bi amane eye Sam George say adwuma no ontimi nya wontwe ne ho na de obetimi aye no omeye isanse kamia say the way oye ne matroka no ebeko atia eye odumuyanfo John Mahama
enye ndisi enye minister ene wo so sori gina na nuwa bari bi wo ha bo ne ba fam no kwasem data boy den do why wo be yatim why bo ne ba nyae the most expensive data around the globe Ghana. The most expensive data around the globe Ghana. So the expensive data yeto ewu krom ha ene yadwuma. Me say say I'm no say. Medal star 141. Send me to data. Star 141 no me to data no. Any. And that's one. 2.3 gig for 7 days, 22 cedis. 6.1 gig for 7 cedis, 30 Ghana. 4.4 gig for 15 cedis, 25 cedis, 50 pesos. Why? Why? Are they body? What data? 2.5 gig for 22 Ghana cedis. For 22 Ghana cedis. And it's very terrible. It's the worst thing that was happening to Ghanaians. As a minister, we feel so comfortable. And we baby we feel so comfortable. Okay. But no question about Mr. Minister. We buy some Ghana for. If you buy some Ghana for, they tabu the dodo. Yako kana mbuafu. And they took over the animal baby. You see that tabu.
Personally, do you think that the cost of bundle, data, and all that, do you think that it's expensive as compared to other places, or you think we are paying the right prices for it? Thank you.
I hold the view respectfully that we could get more value for what we pay as a country for data. I've already begun conversations on the instructions of His Excellency the President with stakeholders to ensure that we get more value. More value could be in reduction in prices or increases in offerings. So it could be that if you paid, for example, 100 Ghana cedis and you got 100 gig of data, we could maintain the same 100 Ghana cedis but give you 150 gig of data. So that's more value. Or the 100 gig could drop to 75 cedis. There are different models around it. But like I said in an earlier answer, we're working around what goes into the cost element, largely electricity, and some work has begun on that. So yes, we hope to see prices of data hopefully drop before the end of this year. Thank you.
Dear MTN Ghana, why are you guys doing this to us? I used to get 260 gigabyte for 399 cedi. Then you reduce the data bundle to 198 gigabyte for the same amount of 399 Ghana cedi in less than 3 months. It is now 350 Ghana for a paltry 92 gigabyte. Why is data now so expensive, like getting water in the desert? Please rethink about this. Now we're Sam Jordan so Ababekasa say obesre Ghana for what committee ahodo so omunye hwehwemu na find this bia just say ombenya no mo fam na no mo hwe so anana emwa no na omuntimi ente eye data prices so nti wose Ghana fo monum su entwen eye ope.
Let me digress a bit. The Director General spoke about the work the ministry is doing relative to bridging the digital gap and divide on the basis of connectivity cost. I've been trending over the weekend on Twitter, not necessarily for my looks or my work, but absolutely because whether orchestrated or otherwise, people think that data prices must be cheaper by the stroke of my pen. Let me be clear about this, and because the media is here, the Director General has spoken about the work that we're doing. I set up a committee in February, and people failed to listen to exactly what we set out to do with that committee. When I set up that committee, I did not say that in 14 days that committee was going to reduce data prices. That committee included telecom companies, the regulator, and sector players. The committee's mandate in 14 days was to develop a roadmap that would lead to the drop in data prices. A roadmap. A roadmap does not mean that in 14 days data prices would have dropped. In 13 days, that committee, working without receiving a penny from the taxpayers' coffers, delivered a roadmap. On the basis of that roadmap, I made the Director General of the NCA and the regulator engage with stakeholders. There's a CEO of one of the telecom companies here on what we could do in the immediate, in the medium term, and the long term. Look, we're dealing with 8 years of distortion of the market. I wish I could fix it arbitrarily, but it takes a very calculated attempt not to create further distortions by acting irrationally. And so to the young people of our country and the people of this country, my promise was that by the end of this year, we would see prices of data drop. And I remain committed to it. We will deliver on that. But trust the process. I trust the technical competence of the regulator to work with the telecom companies to ensure the viability of the businesses, but also ensure that we get better value for what we are paying. Apart from the work I've asked the NCA to do, I have engaged the ITU, whose celebration we are enjoying today, 160 years. I spoke with Dr. Cosmo Zavazava, who is the head of BDT at the ITU, and have tasked the ITU to do an independent study of tariffs in Ghana and present a report to us in 8 weeks, so that we can align that study's report with what the NCA's report is and then take an informed policy decision. Estelle spoke about the fact that I've been a very consultative kind of minister. I will not act arbitrarily. I will not give directives that will affect the industry. What I will do is to consult with industry, consult with stakeholders, and take decisions that protect investment in Ghana, but also ensure that Ghanaian customers and Ghanaian citizens have the best quality of service and get the best pricing for the services that they pay for. We will keep our word. You have my promise.
Na Sam Neti George dear and so no can say aba ya de botachi no ya de bebo banda bi nti say o positioner o kasa na hwe o kasa eyi Sam George amani hunu eno no wo hina mo ami nsan enie makramo